I've always believed that your home is the safest place you can be, until the night mine stopped feeling like mine. This story happened a few months ago, and even now, I can't tell if what I lived through was real, or if it was something that used me to feel alive. It started like any other night. Soft music in the background, the wind tapping gently against the window, and the streetlight outside cutting thin lines of gold across my wooden floor. Everything felt calm. Too calm, almost staged, like the silence itself was waiting for something. I finished dinner and sat on the couch, scrolling through my phone. My dog was asleep beside me, completely still. Then I heard it. A faint sound, almost like a sigh. It came from the hallway connecting the rooms. At first I thought it was the wind, or the dog, but both were still. My heart skipped. I got up slowly, careful not to make a sound, and stepped toward the hallway. Nothing. Everything was in its place. But the air felt heavier, denser, like the walls were holding their breath. A chill ran down my spine. I could swear I was being watched. Even though no one was there, I turned on the TV to distract myself, kept the volume low, but the silence behind the screen didn't go away. Every little sound, the dripping faucet, the dog shifting, sounded too loud, too deliberate. Then I heard it again. Closer this time. Not a step, not a knock, just a soft scrape against the wood, like someone was walking behind me, barefoot. I turned around. Nothing. The dog was still there, sleeping peacefully, but something in the air had changed. The house felt aware, as if it had just noticed me noticing it. I went to the kitchen to wash a few dishes. That's when I saw it. One plate, slightly moved, barely a few inches, but I knew for a fact I hadn't left it there. My breath caught, and a single thought crossed my mind. I'm not alone. Something, or someone, was moving through my house, quietly, like it belonged there more than I did. That night, I decided to document everything. Photos, videos, notes of where things were. It sounded insane, but I needed proof. Something to show I wasn't losing my mind. I fell asleep on the couch, phone in hand. The dog curled beside me. Every creak of the house woke me. Every shadow seemed to move when I looked away, and in that silence, I realized something terrible. This house wasn't mine anymore. Something else had taken it. The next morning, I checked my photos. Everything looked normal. Nothing moved. No proof, but then, one picture stopped me cold. A photo I didn't take. It was me, asleep on the couch, taken from the hallway. The angle was low, like someone had crouched down and taken it in the dark. Only the faint blue light of the TV illuminated my face. I dropped the phone instantly. How was that possible? No one else had been there. I checked the doors, the windows, all locked from the inside. No footprints, no signs of a break-in. I tried to rationalize it. Maybe an old photo I'd forgotten about. Maybe some glitch. But the timestamp said 2:37 a.m. The exact time I fell asleep. My stomach twisted. That picture shouldn't exist. I called my neighbor, David, 2 doors down. He's a quiet guy, kind of old school, but solid. He came over with a flashlight and a baseball bat. We checked the entire house, closets, under the bed, attic. Nothing. He laughed a little and said, "You probably sleepwalked, man. Happens more than you think." I forced a smile, but I knew I hadn't. And even if I had, how could I take a photo like that? From that angle, after he left, I sat on my bed, staring at the hallway. The light flickered once, and I thought I heard it again. A whisper. Just a single breath. Right behind the door. That night, I couldn't sleep. Every noise made me jump. The hum of the fridge, the faint creak of the pipes. It all sounded alive. I kept replaying the image in my head. That photo of me and the shadow behind me. I zoomed in earlier that day, and I swear there was a faint outline. Not clear, but human. At 2 a.m., I heard the creak again. The same sound from the hallway. This time I didn't move. I just listened. 5 steps. Silence. Then 5 more. Right outside my door, I grabbed the bat and held my breath. Pressed my ear to the door. Nothing. Total silence. Until a slow exhale. Right on the other side, I froze. My heart pounded so loud it echoed in my skull. I wanted to open the door, prove nothing was there. But I couldn't. My body refused. After what felt like forever, I forced the door open. The hallway was empty. But the light near the kitchen was on. I never leave that light on. I stepped into the hallway. The shadows shifted with every flicker. The air was freezing, but I could feel sweat sliding down my back. I walked toward the kitchen, bat tight in my hand. Every step screamed, "Don't go," but I kept moving. Everything looked normal. Perfectly normal, except for one thing. My phone. It was on the counter. Screen glowing. Camera app open. Recording 8 minutes long. I hit play. At first, just darkness. The sound of my breathing while I slept. Then, movement. Someone picking up the phone. Walking down the hallway. The sound of the floorboards creaking. And then, a whisper. So soft I almost missed it. "Don't wake up." The camera turned toward me. My own face sleeping on the couch. Before the video cut to black, I dropped the phone. Didn't even care it hit the floor. Then, click. The sound of my bedroom door closing. The air went dead still. No breathing, no sound, just silence. Like the house itself was listening. I wanted to run, but my keys, my wallet, everything was in that room. I took one slow step toward the door. The handle was slightly turned, like someone had just let go of it. I pushed it open. The room was empty. Everything in its place, except for a small folded note. Sitting on my pillow, my name on the front. My hands shook as I opened it. 3 words. "Thanks for staying." The handwriting wasn't mine, and I knew every single person who had ever been in this house. Every single one, except whoever left that note. I looked at the window, and in my reflection, for just a second, someone stood behind me, tall, still, watching. I turned. Nothing. The hallway was empty again. Completely silent. That was the last night I ever slept in that house. I moved out the next morning. Didn't even pack everything. But sometimes, when I scroll through my phone late at night, I still find new pictures. Pictures I don't remember taking, and every time, they're taken from the same place, the hallway. I had never spent so much time alone in my house. Usually there was someone around, but that weekend, I was completely alone. It started like any other afternoon. The clock struck 6, the sunset light spilling through the window, and I was sitting in the living room, sipping coffee and looking through some old books I had left on the table. The house was silent. Too silent. No traffic, no barking dogs, not even the wind. As if the entire world had vanished. I decided to go up to the attic to look for some old family photo boxes. I had never had to open it before. The door was always locked, but that afternoon, it was slightly ajar. A small detail, but enough to make me wonder how it had happened. I climbed the wooden stairs slowly, feeling each creak under my feet. The air smelled of dust and old wood, and something inside me whispered that this place shouldn't be open. I peered inside, and the space was empty except for a few boxes and furniture covered in white sheets. Still, something felt off. Not fear exactly, but like the attic was watching me, waiting for me to make a mistake. I approached the boxes, and I heard a sound, a sharp thud, small but precise. It came from the back of the attic where there was nothing. I froze. Listening, the silence returned. I laughed nervously, trying to convince myself it was just the wood, something falling on its own. Completely natural, but my heart wouldn't stop racing. And just as I was about to grab another box, another sound echoed, closer this time, like something was moving in the shadows. I stood frozen, my hands gripping the edge of a dusty box. The sound didn't come again, at first. Just the faint hum of the heater fighting the winter cold. Then, a scraping noise. Low, deliberate, coming from the far corner of the attic. I swallowed hard. My pulse was deafening in my ears. I tried to reason with myself. Probably just a loose board, or a branch brushing the roof. But even as I said it, the rational voice sounded weak. Tiny hairs on the back of my neck were standing on end. I slowly moved toward the corner. Each step measured, my eyes scanning the shadows, but the room seemed empty. I bent down to pick up a box, and something shifted behind me, a faint movement. I whipped around. Nothing. The shadows looked the same, but I could feel a presence. Watching. Waiting. I backed away from the corner, heart racing. The temperature seemed to drop suddenly, my breath visible in the dim light. I decided to step back toward the attic door. Maybe I'd call it a night. Just leave the boxes for tomorrow. Then I heard it, a quiet whisper. So faint I almost didn't catch it. Don't leave. I froze. No one should have been there. No one could have been. I spun around looking for the source. Nothing. Just the dusty boxes, the old furniture, and the faint outline of the ladder leading to the roof access. Something drew me toward the ladder. I couldn't explain it. Curiosity, fear, a mixture of both? I climbed slowly, each step groaning under my weight. At the top, I paused, listening. Nothing. And yet, I knew I wasn't alone. A cold draft brushed past my face. Not from the window, from inside. Inside the attic, my heart skipped. I wanted to run, but something kept me there. Something made me watch the shadows, every corner, every folded sheet, for the tiniest movement. Then I noticed it. A box, the one closest to the far wall, had shifted. Just a few inches, enough to know that I hadn't moved it, and that's when I understood. Whatever was here was aware of me. It knew I was watching. I couldn't stop staring at the box. My hands were shaking, even though I hadn't touched it. The attic felt heavier, darker, like the shadows themselves were pressing in. Then I heard it. A faint scrape coming from the far corner again. Slower this time, deliberate. Not random. I swallowed hard and forced myself forward. Closer to the noise, closer to the corner. Every creak of the wooden floor made me jump. Every shadow seemed to twitch when I looked away. I reached the corner, and there was nothing. Just boxes and dust. Just the faint smell of old wood and mildew. I turned and froze. One of the sheets covering the furniture had shifted. Slowly, unnaturally, like someone had brushed it aside. Then stood still. I could feel it. The presence, watching me, testing me. My phone lay on the floor. I grabbed it and turned on the flashlight. Nothing. Just the boxes. The sheets. The ladder. And a darkness that felt almost alive. I backed toward the stairs. Heart racing so hard I thought it would burst. A soft sound, like someone exhaling, came from behind me. I spun around. Nothing. Then, a whisper, so close it felt like it was in my ear. Stay. I stumbled back, nearly falling down the stairs. I needed to leave, now. But before I could move, I heard a soft, slow thud. From the ladder, someone or something was descending. I froze. My mind screamed to run. Every instinct told me to escape. But curiosity, fear, something kept me rooted. I watched the ladder. The steps moved slightly, then stopped. No one visible. My breathing became rapid. The shadows seemed to stretch toward me. The air was cold, heavy, almost solid. Then the whisper again. So soft, yet deliberate. Don't go. I wanted to scream. To run, to leave everything behind. But I couldn't. I was trapped in my own house. In my own attic. With something that wasn't supposed to exist. I couldn't move. Every muscle in my body was frozen. The attic felt impossibly silent, like even the air was holding its breath. Then, a faint scraping sound. Closer this time. Deliberate, methodical. I forced myself to look around. Nothing, just shadows. Shifting slightly, almost like they were alive. I stepped toward the ladder, slowly. Every creak under my feet made me jump. At the top, I paused, listening. The sound had stopped. For a moment, everything seemed normal. Then, a soft thump. The sound came from the box in the corner. The one I hadn't touched, it moved again. Just a few inches, but enough to make me step back in horror. I could feel eyes on me, watching, judging. I reached for my phone. I needed light, proof, something. I turned on the flashlight. Nothing, just boxes, sheets, and the ladder. I backed toward the stairs and froze. A shadow moved. Not fast, not sudden, but deliberate, a figure. Passing behind the boxes, I couldn't see it clearly. The flashlight didn't reach far enough, but I felt it. Close, waiting. I tried to speak, but my voice caught. No sound came out. Then, a whisper, soft, almost polite. "Why are you here?" I wanted to run. I tried to move, but my legs refused. The box, the shadow, everything in the attic felt alive. I took a deep breath, forced myself to step down the ladder slowly. Every step echoed in the empty space, like the attic was counting them. Watching, waiting, I made it to the floor. The main room of the house, lights flickering, cold air brushing past my face, and then silence. So heavy, so thick, I felt like I couldn't breathe. I didn't touch the attic again. I didn't go near it for the rest of the weekend. I didn't sleep, but sometimes I hear it, a faint whisper, a movement in the shadows, a box shifting, just enough to remind me I'm not alone. I spent the rest of the weekend pacing the house. Every creak, every draft made me jump. I didn't go near the attic. I didn't open any boxes. I barely slept. On Sunday night, I thought I had finally relaxed. The house felt quieter, more normal, almost safe. Then, I heard it again. A soft thump from above. From the attic, I froze. My heart slammed in my chest. I didn't move, didn't breathe, just listened. The sound repeated. Slow, deliberate, like someone walking back and forth. I grabbed my phone, turned on the flashlight, and shined it toward the attic stairs. Nothing, just shadows. Stretching long and dark across the walls, I stepped closer and noticed something new. The box in the corner, the one that had shifted before, was now at the very edge of the room. I didn't touch it. I didn't even breathe. Then, the whisper, right next to my ear. Soft, deliberate, almost familiar. "Stay. Forever." I ran straight out the front door. Didn't look back. Didn't stop running. I never went back. I moved out the next day, but sometimes, months later, when I think I'm completely alone, I hear the thump from above, the attic, and I know it's still there. I was home alone for the weekend. My roommate had gone out of town, and I thought I would finally have some peace. It started like any normal Friday night. I had dinner, washed the dishes, and settled on the couch with my laptop. The apartment was quiet, almost too quiet. I noticed the hallway light flicker, not enough to be unusual, but enough to make me glance up. I shrugged it off. Then, I heard a soft knock at the door. I froze. It was late. No one had a key, and the neighbors usually weren't awake at this hour. I tried to convince myself it was the wind. Maybe the old building creaked, but my gut told me otherwise. I approached the door slowly, hand on the knob. Every nerve in my body screamed to stop. No one was there, just the empty hallway and the faint hum of the refrigerator. I breathed out, laughing nervously. "You're imagining things," I whispered to myself. I returned to the couch, trying to ignore it. Then I heard it again. Soft footsteps coming from the kitchen. I froze. The apartment was empty. I had locked the door. No windows were open. Yet, someone or something was moving inside. I stayed on the couch, heart racing, listening. The footsteps stopped. For a moment, I thought I had imagined it. The silence was deafening, heavier than the air itself. Then, a soft scrape, coming from the living room, slow, deliberate. I gripped the edge of the couch, my hands shaking. I told myself to stay calm. Maybe it's the wind, or the heater, or the pipes. But the rational voice sounded hollow. I slowly got up, every step measured. eyes scanning the dark apartment. The living room looked normal. Everything in its place, but I could feel it. The presence of someone watching. I walked toward the kitchen. The air grew colder with every step. A faint smell of something metallic. Not strong, but noticeable. I reached the kitchen and froze. The faucet was dripping, but the sound didn't match the rhythm of the plumbing. It was slower, more deliberate. I held my breath, every instinct screaming to leave, but I couldn't move. I felt rooted, then I saw it, a shadow slipping behind the counter. Not fast, not sudden, just there. I blinked, and it was gone. I shook my head, thinking maybe I had imagined it. Maybe my mind was playing tricks. I turned back to the living room, and that's when I noticed the door, slightly ajar, the main door. I knew I had locked it. I approached the door slowly, my hand trembling on the handle. Every instinct told me not to open it, but curiosity, or fear, pushed me forward. I peeked through the crack. The hallway was empty. No one there. I stepped back. Maybe I had imagined it, but my gut told me otherwise. Then I heard it. A soft click, not from the door. From inside the apartment, I froze. The sound came from the bedroom. I had locked it earlier. I gripped the edge of the counter, trying to steady my breathing. The air felt heavier. The shadows longer. Every small noise, the refrigerator, the wind outside, even the hum of the heater, sounded amplified, deliberate. I took a step toward the bedroom. Another click, and a whisper this time, so soft I almost missed it. "Why are you here?" My heart nearly stopped. I wanted to run. I wanted to scream. But my legs refused to move. I edged closer, carefully, silently. Every step a battle. The door handle turned slightly. I froze again. No one had touched it. And then, the door creaked open, slowly, as if inviting me in. Inside, the room looked empty. Everything in its place. But the feeling, that undeniable presence, was everywhere. I could hear faint breathing. Not my own. I wanted to flee, but I couldn't. Some part of me needed to see. A shadow moved across the far wall. Slowly, deliberately, watching me, I backed away. Then another sound. The whisper again. "Don't leave." I froze. The voice was so close, so calm, so intimate. It wasn't yelling. It didn't need to. I could feel someone standing right behind me. And then, silence. I stayed frozen in the bedroom doorway. The shadows seemed to stretch across the walls, almost like they were reaching for me. Every small sound made my heart jump. The refrigerator hum, the wind against the window, even the creak of the floor beneath my feet. I took a careful step back, then another. The room remained empty, but the feeling didn't leave. I glanced at the hallway. The door I had locked earlier was now slightly open again. I swallowed hard. My hands were shaking uncontrollably, then a slow, deliberate footstep. From the hallway, coming closer, I gripped the edge of the dresser, tried to steady my breathing. Another step, then another. It wasn't fast. It didn't need to be. Each one carried weight. I wanted to leave. I wanted to run. But my legs felt like they were glued to the floor. The whisper came again, this time louder. "Stay with me." I stumbled backward, nearly falling. The presence, it felt right behind me. I dared to turn my head slightly, and for a moment, I thought I saw a figure, tall, unmoving, watching me from the corner of the room. Then it disappeared. Just like that, the hair on the back of my neck stood up. I could feel my pulse in my throat. I grabbed my phone. Light on. Video mode. Nothing appeared on screen. Just the empty room. But I could feel it there. A shadow moved across the frame. I froze. It didn't show clearly, but the shape, the intent, was unmistakable. I backed away slowly. I had to get out. Had to escape. Then the whisper again. Soft, intimate, almost friendly. "You can't leave." I ran. Straight to the front door. Heart hammering. Breathing ragged, I grabbed my keys, opened the door, and didn't look back. I ran down the hallway, keys clutched tightly in my hand. The apartment felt alive, every shadow shifting, every creak echoing like footsteps behind me. I reached the front door. My hands were shaking. I fumbled with the lock, heart hammering in my chest. Finally, I got it open. I stepped outside, the cold night air hitting my face. It should have felt like relief, but it didn't. I looked back. The apartment looked normal, silent, empty. I told myself I was imagining things. Exhaustion, overthinking, stress. That's all it was. I didn't go back that night, or the next, or ever again. Weeks later, I got a message from a neighbor. They said they heard footsteps coming from my apartment, even though no one lived there. I froze. Something in the message, familiar, intimate. I haven't been back. I won't, but sometimes, when I'm home alone, I hear soft knocks, scraping footsteps, whispers, and I know the guest is still there, waiting, always waiting. I've never felt more alone in my life, and yet I wasn't really alone. It started around midnight. I was lying in bed, scrolling on my phone, trying to ignore the storm outside. The house was quiet. Too quiet. Then, I heard it, a faint, slow thump. From below, not the street, not the wind, from the basement. I live alone. I locked the basement hours ago, and no one has a key but me. I froze. The sound came again, this time, louder, deliberate. I told myself it was nothing, just an old house settling, or maybe a pipe. But my gut said otherwise. I got up, tried to convince myself I was imagining it. Every step toward the basement stairs made my heart pound faster. The thumping continued, slow, rhythmic, like someone or something was pacing. I reached the basement door, hand on the handle. My body trembled. The sound stopped for a moment. Nothing. Then, a whisper, so soft. I almost missed it. Come down. I froze. No one should have been there. No one could have been, and yet, the whisper felt real. I stood at the basement door, hand frozen on the knob. The house was silent again, but the silence felt heavy, almost alive. I told myself to step back, to walk away, but curiosity, or fear, pushed me forward. I slowly turned the handle. The door creaked open. A cold draft hit my face. The basement looked empty. Shadows stretched across the walls. Boxes, old furniture covered in dust. But then, I heard it again. A thump, soft, deliberate, coming from the far corner. I gripped the railing of the stairs. Every nerve in my body screamed at me to leave. I took a step down, then another. The air grew colder, my breath visible in the dim light. The sound repeated, closer this time, like someone was pacing, but stopping whenever I moved. I reached the bottom, and for a moment, nothing. Just the faint smell of damp wood and mildew. Then, a box shifted, slowly, just a few inches, but enough to make me step back in horror. I froze. The thumping stopped. The shadows seemed heavier. Closer, then a whisper, soft, insistent, almost coaxing. Come closer. My heart hammered. I wanted to run, but my legs refused to move. Something was down here with me, and it knew I was watching. I stayed frozen at the bottom of the stairs, staring into the shadows. Every small sound made my heart jump. The box had stopped moving, but I could feel it, the presence, watching. I took a cautious step forward. The floorboards groaned under my weight. Every creak echoed like footsteps behind me. Then, a faint scraping. From the far side of the basement, slow, deliberate, almost measured. I swallowed hard. My hands were trembling. I gripped the edge of a table for balance. Another thump, closer. And then, silence. I dared a glance toward the corner. Nothing, just darkness. Just shadows, but the feeling didn't leave. It was closer now. I could feel it pressing in, like the air itself was heavier. I tried to turn and run, but my legs wouldn't move. I felt frozen, rooted to the spot. Then, the whisper again, soft, deliberate, almost intimate. Don't leave. I couldn't take my eyes off the corner. Every instinct screamed to get out. Every rational thought told me I was alone. But something very real, was down here with me, watching, waiting. A box shifted again. This time I could see it clearly. Not a draft, not a trick of the light. It moved as if nudged by an invisible hand. My heart pounded. The shadows seemed to stretch further, wrapping around me. I wanted to scream. I wanted to run. But I couldn't, and then I heard it, a soft exhale, right behind me. I couldn't move. Every nerve in my body was screaming. The basement felt alive. Every shadow stretched and twisted almost like it was breathing. The box shifted again, slow, deliberate, as if testing me, watching me. I backed up slowly, heart racing. The air was cold, heavy, almost solid around me. Then, a soft thump from the corner, closer this time, like someone or something was pacing. Stopping whenever I moved, I tried to steady my breathing. Tried to convince myself it was my imagination. But the feeling, the undeniable awareness of being watched, told me otherwise. A whisper came, soft, coaxing, so close it felt like it was in my ear. Stay. I stumbled back, almost fell on the stairs. Every instinct screamed to leave. Every rational thought told me to run. Then, I heard it again, dragging, something moving across the floor. Slow, deliberate, coming closer to the stairs. I grabbed my phone, turned on the flashlight. Nothing. The beam swept across the room. But there was nothing there. Just the shadows. Just the boxes. Just the heavy, oppressive air. And yet, I could feel it. The presence, right there, watching, waiting. I backed toward the stairs, trying to keep my eyes on the corner. Every step a struggle. Every heartbeat loud in my ears. And then, silence, so complete. I could hear my own breath. My own pulse. I wanted to leave. I had to leave. But the whisper came again. Soft, insistent, intimate. Don't go. I ran up the basement stairs, my heart hammering in my chest. The air felt thick, like it was resisting me. I reached the main floor. The lights flickered. Every shadow in the room seemed to stretch toward me, mocking me, waiting. I grabbed my coat, my keys, and ran straight for the front door. Outside, the night was cold. The storm had died down. The street was quiet. I told myself I had imagined it. Exhaustion, paranoia, stress. I went back inside later, trying to convince myself it was nothing. But the basement door was slightly open. No one could have touched it. No one should have been there. I've never gone down there again. I moved my boxes to the living room, locked the basement door, but sometimes, when I'm alone, I hear it, soft thumps, dragging footsteps, whispers, calling me back, and I know it's still there, waiting, always waiting. I had just finished a long day at work. The apartment was empty, silent, perfect for unwinding. I sat on the couch and flicked on the TV, nothing unusual, until the power blinked. The screen turned on by itself. The volume low, just enough to hear a faint static hum. I froze. No one was home. I live alone. I hadn't touched the remote. I tried to turn it off, but the power button wouldn't respond. Then, the screen flickered. A single frame appeared. A living room. Almost identical to mine. I leaned closer. The camera angle, the furniture, even the couch I was sitting on. It was my apartment. I blinked. The frame changed. Now, the hallway, empty, but I could swear I saw movement, a shadow, passing quickly. Out of view, I wanted to laugh. Maybe a glitch, maybe my imagination, but my gut told me something wasn't right. Then, the sound, a faint whisper coming from the TV speakers, so soft. I almost missed it. Look behind you. I froze. My heart slammed against my chest. I slowly turned my head. The apartment was empty. No one, nothing. I told myself it was a trick of the light. Maybe the reflection from the screen, but the whisper had sounded so real, so deliberate. I tried turning the TV off again. The remote still didn't work. The buttons on the set were unresponsive. Then, a new frame appeared. This time, my bedroom. I could see the bed, the nightstand, even my laptop open, just as I had left it. A shadow moved across the frame. slow, deliberate, stopping whenever I looked at it. I wanted to move, to leave the room, but my legs felt glued to the floor. My eyes were locked on the screen. The whisper came again. "Don't turn around." I froze. Every instinct screamed at me, but the words, so soft, so intimate, kept me watching. I inched toward the TV, closer. The static hummed in my ears. I could feel my pulse in the tips of my fingers. Then, the screen flickered. Another frame, this time, the living room, and there it was. A figure standing just behind my couch, tall, still, dark. I blinked. The frame changed, empty, but the whisper lingered. In my ears, in the room, in the shadows, "Come closer." I stumbled back, heart racing. The TV hummed. The shadows seemed to shift, almost reaching for me. I couldn't move. Every nerve in my body was screaming. The screen flickered again. Another frame now. The hallway outside my bedroom, and there it was, a shadow, standing perfectly still, watching. I swallowed hard. My hands were shaking uncontrollably. I wanted to leave. I wanted to run. But my eyes were glued to the screen. Then, a soft sound. Not from the TV, from behind me. I spun around. Empty room, no one. Just the faint hum of the refrigerator. I turned back to the screen. The shadow had moved closer. Not fast, not suddenly, but closer. Step by step, frame by frame, I could feel its presence. The air felt heavier. Every shadow in the room seemed darker, like it was creeping toward me. The whisper came again, so soft, almost intimate. "Turn around." I wanted to obey. I wanted to run. I wanted to scream, but my body refused. I couldn't move. I couldn't look away. Then the figure on the screen reached out, not with a hand, not physically, but I felt it, pressing into my chest, filling the room, like the shadows themselves had weight. I stumbled back, almost falling. The whispers continued, so soft, so insistent. I realized then, whatever this was, it wasn't just on the screen. It was here, in the room, watching me. I backed away from the TV, my heart hammering in my chest. Every shadow in the room seemed to stretch, almost like they were alive. The screen flickered again. Another frame. This time, my kitchen empty, but the feeling, that unmistakable sense of being watched, was everywhere. The whisper came again, soft, insistent, almost teasing. "Look behind you." I spun around. Empty room. No one. I tried to convince myself it was a glitch, or exhaustion, or stress, but the feeling didn't leave. I stepped toward the door, my hand trembling on the knob. The TV hummed, the screen flickering with static, and then the whisper again, "Sit down." I froze. The shadow seemed to lean closer. The air grew colder. I stumbled backward to the couch. The screen changed, and I saw it again. The figure, standing just behind me this time. Tall, dark, still. My pulse raced. The room felt alive, pressing in from every direction. I wanted to leave. I wanted to run. But the whispers, soft, intimate, kept me rooted in place. Then the screen went black. The whisper stopped. The room was silent, but I knew it hadn't gone. It was still here, watching, waiting. I didn't move for a long time, just sat there staring at the black screen, heart hammering, breathing loud in the empty apartment. Then, the screen flickered, static, and for a moment, I thought I saw the figure move again. I grabbed the remote, smashed the power button. Nothing. The TV hummed softly, like it had a mind of its own. I ran to the kitchen, turned off every breaker, pulled every plug. Finally, silence. The apartment felt normal again, or as normal as it could feel after that. I haven't touched that TV since. I haven't gone near it alone. I even considered getting rid of it. But sometimes, late at night, I hear a soft hum, a whisper, almost like a voice. "Don't go." I glance at the TV, off, dark, empty, and I know it's still there, waiting, patient, watching me. I had been home alone all evening. finishing some work on my laptop while the rain pounded against the windows. Everything was quiet, peaceful, almost comforting. Until I heard it, a faint sound coming from upstairs like someone was moving furniture. Slow, deliberate, almost hesitant, I froze in my chair, listening carefully. The house is old and it creaks sometimes, but this felt different. More intentional. I tried to convince myself it was just the pipes or the wind. I even laughed softly at my own paranoia. But the sound repeated, slightly louder this time, accompanied by a faint scratching, like nails dragging lightly across the wood floor. I told myself to ignore it, to stay seated, to finish my work. And I did for a few minutes. But then I heard a soft thump, followed by a creak of a door opening, the door at the end of the hallway upstairs. I knew it well. It's always locked. The one room I never go into alone. My heart skipped. I hadn't touched it. No one else had a key. I swallowed hard, and then the whisper, so soft I almost didn't catch it, but it was there. "You shouldn't be here." I froze completely. Every instinct in my body screamed at me to run, but I couldn't tear my eyes away from the hallway, from that locked door that now seemed to move slightly, just a hair, as if someone had brushed against it from the inside. I got up from my chair, my legs shaking slightly, and I moved toward the hallway, trying to convince myself that it was just the house settling or my imagination running wild. But the closer I got to the stairs, the heavier the air felt, almost like it was pressing down on my shoulders. Every step made the wooden floor groan beneath me, and I could hear the faint scratching again, this time from the top of the stairs, deliberate, patient, like someone was moving slowly, waiting for me to notice. I stopped halfway, gripping the railing tightly, trying to steady my breathing. But it came faster now, the scratching, the soft thumps, and then the whisper. So soft it made the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. "Why are you here?" I froze completely, my mind racing, my heart hammering in my chest. But the voice wasn't loud or urgent. It was calm, almost intimate, like it knew me, like it had been waiting for me to come down the hall. I forced myself to take another step, and then another, each one heavier than the last, until I reached the top, standing in front of that locked door, staring at it as if it might suddenly reveal the presence hiding behind it. And then it moved. Just slightly, a hair of space between the door and the frame, enough for the shadow inside to slip closer, almost teasing me. And I could feel the air around me change, colder, thicker, heavier, like the room itself was aware of me standing there. I swallowed hard. My hands were trembling. Every instinct told me to run, to turn and escape the house completely, but I couldn't. And the whisper came again, closer this time, almost at my ear. "You're too late." I couldn't move. Every muscle in my body felt frozen. Every nerve screamed at me to run. But my eyes stayed locked on the door. It shifted again, just slightly. The gap widened a hair. It was enough to suggest someone, or something, was brushing against it from the inside. The whisper came again, soft, deliberate, coaxing me closer. "You shouldn't be here." I took a shaky step forward, then another. I gripped the banister tightly. Each creak of the stairs sounded impossibly loud. The scratching continued, slow, methodical, like the thing inside the room was pacing, calculating, aware of every movement I made. I wanted to call out, to demand it leave, but my voice caught in my throat. I peeked through the gap of the door. My breath fogged the small space. For a brief second, I thought I saw something, a shadow, slip across the room. Just out of reach, just out of clarity. My chest tightened. The air felt heavier. The whispers grew more insistent, almost impatient, brushing against the edges of my mind. "Come closer. It's too late to turn back." I froze again, unsure if I was terrified of what was behind the door, or of what I might do if I opened it. Then the door creaked, slow, deliberate, as if pushed from the inside. I stumbled backward, heart hammering, but I couldn't tear my eyes away. Every instinct told me to flee, yet part of me, Something I didn't understand, wanted to see. To know what was waiting inside that locked room. I stayed frozen at the top of the stairs. The house felt heavier, almost alive. The door moved again, slow, deliberate. It creaked slightly like someone was testing me. The scratching continued. Closer now. I could feel it pressing through the walls, through the floor, watching. The whisper came again, soft but insistent. Come closer. Don't be afraid. I swallowed hard. My hands were shaking. Every instinct screamed at me to leave, but I couldn't move. I was rooted to the spot, then I heard something else. A faint step behind me. I spun around. Empty hallway. I turned back to the door. It moved again. A shadow slipped across the gap, slow, patient, almost teasing me. I took another step. The air grew colder, my breath visible in front of me. The whisper came again. You can't leave now. I stumbled back. The staircase felt endless. Every step I took sounded like a drumbeat. I could feel the presence all around me. The shadows in the hallway seemed alive, stretching toward me, waiting, and then silence, so heavy, so complete. I couldn't hear anything but my own heartbeat. I realized then, it wasn't just behind the door. It was in the house, everywhere, watching. I stumbled backward, heart hammering in my chest. The door at the end of the hallway had stopped moving. For a moment, everything was silent. I told myself it was over, that I had imagined it all, that the old house, my paranoia, my exhaustion, had created shadows where there were none. I tried to calm down. I went back to my laptop, pretending nothing had happened. But every creak, every groan of the house made my chest tighten. Later that night, I heard it again. A soft whisper, coming from the locked door. You shouldn't have come back. I froze. The air around me felt heavier. The shadows seemed to move closer, not fast, but deliberate, patient, waiting. I haven't gone near that door since. I don't plan to. I keep the hallway dimly lit. The lock checked. But sometimes, when I'm home alone, I swear I hear the faintest scratching. Soft, deliberate, just beyond the door, and I know whatever is behind it is still there, waiting, always waiting.